we have a single source aquifer, and it is incredibly important to ensure that water is protected and safe to drink. Joining me today, I welcome Laura Kelly and Natalia Van Housen. They are with POCA, an organization that is working to protect our Cape Cod aquifer. Laura and Natalia, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us. Glad to be here.
So Laura, you really have been an advocate for clean water on Cape Cod for many years now. Tell me a little bit about how POCA got started, how you got involved in making sure that we have clean water.
Well, for me it was really simple in the beginning. I just want to drink clean water. Who doesn't, right? And it was the simple fact that I was born and raised here, and I wish to live here and reside here. I know that what I'm consuming isn't going to harm me over time. So this got me to realize I kind of had a voice and started talking about it, and before I knew it, the community's really gotten involved and stepped up and said, what can we do? So what POCA's most main goal is to educate and to share simple, cost-effective ways to lessen our impact on our aquifer.
So what are some of the major threats to our aquifer? What is threatening the potability of our water?
Well, there's a few bigger agencies that it's not just the residents and the citizens, although we have a large impact because there are more of us. There is one company, our local utility, who sprays herbicides on our power lines throughout what I call the backbone of Cape Cod. They, in one company, use thousands of gallons of pesticide in order to maintain vegetation, and that over time will absolutely make an impact on our drinking water. Another big source is, of course, the power plant. And that would be an immediate effect, right, if there's ever a problem there. So one is slow and steadily harmful. And other than that, our own impact, like how are we affecting our own drinking water? Every single day, we purchase things, we use things, we decide to buy things, and that absolutely has a big impact.
And I think so often we don't really think about our dishwater detergent, our dish detergent going into the aquifer, or our laundry soap going into the aquifer, or just things that go down the drain. You almost are caught that goes down the drain, you forget about it, what you flush down the toilet, and those things are going into the water system.
We have septic systems here on the Cape that are Title V, and they don't actually filter out said things like pharmaceuticals, you know, any sort of chemicals that do go down our sinks, like laundry detergent. You know, the type of toothpaste we even use has fluoride in it, which is very harmful to our own digestive tracts. So we can't rely on our septic systems for breaking down anything that goes down our sinks and our toilets. And that's a really big visual to realize that it is all connected, that you know, what we do put down our sinks will get out and ultimately to our aquifer, and then we just draw it back up again to our sink. You know, so it's
and
a
then
circle
back into our bodies.
Exactly. It's a simple circle of life going on all the time. And I really think that we have the ability to every day do the best that we can to lessen that amount of chemicals going in this circle that we have on the Cape.
So what can we do? What kind of practices can people put in place to help protect our aquifer?
I call it habits, right? We're humans. We have these habits that we form. Where do we shop? Where do we purchase things? And if we could shift our ways, I think it's as simple as that. Just change your habits. So don't go to any chain grocery stores. Go to a local farmer's market instead. So that's really hard. It's Saturday morning, it's 9 to 12, you've got to bring your own canvas bag, you know.
It's February.
It's February. It's indoor in the winter, luckily. But there is meat, there's local products, right? So there's cows from Dennis, chicken from Truro, pigs from Barnstable. So you can get all the meat you want. There's local vegetables, of course seasonal. Many other products available that are local, from local crafters. And can you imagine if our money stayed locally, what that would do for our own economy?
It's huge.
And our next generation?
It's huge.
So just a simple I think it's so simple to change a habit. Change our habit. Shop differently. Don't go to chain stores. Chain stores have foods that are grown with chemicals. They're harvested with chemicals. So they've got it inside and outside. And you sit there and you rub your little apple before you eat it is not getting it completely off. Like, we have to support our locals and do the right thing for the future.
What about learning to grow your own vegetables in a garden, say?
Sure, absolutely. Simple. There's classes all over the Cape. You know, you can even talk to your local farmers and see how they do it, what works for them, and then go to your own land. Absolutely.
Sure.
Simple.
But you've still got to do your laundry, wash your dishes, things like that. So are there products that are better than others that you don't want to be putting in the water stream?
Absolutely. There are many available things other than a detergent for laundry. If it says detergent, not good enough anymore.
How come?
Because it's full. If you could actually pronounce what's in the ingredients list, you've got to read your labels. You know, they're there for a reason. You know, and if it says something you can't understand, that should be obvious, right? There are things nowadays in laundry detergents. I use the word because people can relate to it. There's balls. You know more about this, right? The laundry balls.
So it's actually a cylinder kind of shape, and they're magnets, very powerful magnets. You can actually put on each side of your palm, and it'll actually hold itself up. You place it on the inside of your washer machine, and it absorbs all the stains off of the clothes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
So no chemicals,
All
no
naturally.
compounds, no nothing, just a couple of magnets inside the washing machine and your clothes are clean.
And then there's, of course, for your dryer, the balls that are wool, and you put that in your dryer instead of any sort of sheet. So basically, you don't want to smell. A smell in your laundry is toxic. It gets out through your septic system and kills microorganisms and worms. It gets into our aquifer and we consume it. So that's one thing. If you could change one thing, there's many more. Toothpaste, no fluoride. Shampoo, that's a big one. Shampoo, conditioner. Soaps, what type of soaps do you use? Dr. Bronner's is the only type of soap that is allowed at Eastern Mountain Sports. Like if you go out camping, you know, that won't harm something in like a stream or a river if you're gonna bathe in it. So there are products available locally and cost effective. You don't need to use this whole bottle of Dr. Bronner's. You use a little portion of it at a time.
It's pretty good stuff too. They make toothpaste as well, Dr. Bronner's.
They do, and there's all different. There's babies flavors, you know, mild to, you know, peppermint, which is really, really strong. I use that as an all-natural deterrent on plants to keep pests away.
Wow.
So peppermint, Dr. Bronner's, there's lots of things that don't like peppermint. Moles, mice, mildew, it's just my little cure-all.
It's amazing how much nature can give to us in terms of the things that we're used to going to, say, a big box store or a supermarket to get chemicals, but nature really provides so many ways to deter pests, to clean your house. It is really amazing. So let's talk a little bit more about POCA. Tell me a little bit about what the organization does and what you're working on currently.
Well, currently we have a lot of, let's say, irons in the fire. In the past, I'll start there. We have educated 8 towns and got 8 towns to lessen and monitor the use of fertilizers in their towns. It's a little bit of growing pains where they're now learning, you know, how to enforce that. But each town of these 8 towns has a way to say, you know, they've got little set rules. So from October to April, no fertilizer allowed. The rest of the months, only a little bit of nitrogen and no phosphorus unless in an extreme condition, yada, yada, yada. So it's out there, it's new, it's underway, and we're very proud to have these towns involved on that effort of lessening the amount of nitrogen and phosphorus above our aquifer, right? And then now our big thing has been 8 years trying to prevent Eversource from spraying herbicides in our power lines.
Right. And seems like a fight that you have to go back year after year, and you've been, and really it's been good at kind of staving it away, but again, they still keep coming back and wanting to do that. And obviously it's more cost effective for the company, but we have concerns about those pesticides here on Cape Cod.
Yeah, the third-party testing, I read other countries and how they handle the situation, and it is obvious in the long run going to be much more harmful to our health and our natural resources than mowing.
So let's talk a little bit about the benefit. I know that you have a benefit coming up Sunday, March 12th at Essie's, right down the street from us here at the Media Center, a new place in Dennisport. Sounds like it's going to be a really good time, so tell me a little bit about the benefit.
Yeah. So here's a little flyer just to show you if you see it around town. This is our first annual benefit for POCA for 2017. As Laura was mentioning, we are raising money to, support our efforts towards making new laws, lawyers, anything that has to do with science, anything that has to do along those lines. Most importantly, educational programs, because we're actually reaching out to the high schools and middle schools and whoever we can get a hold of to start a program or seminars with the students to talk about these issues that we have mentioned earlier today. To teach them how to consume consciously and vote with your dollar, especially if you are underage and you can't get out and vote. We live in a consumerist, capitalist society, so this is the best way to control the market. So our benefit is March 12th, which is next Sunday. Today is March 3rd, I'm sorry. And it's from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's at Etsy's Wine Bar and Bistro, which is located at 697 Main Street in Dennisport. And there will be live entertainment provided by the Dirty Water Dance Band. Just a little short story about the Dirty Water Dance Band. It was an impromptu get-together brought together by Laura for an event that we had together with Cape Cod Green Drinks at Cape Cod Beer in September. And she called up George Smith and was like, listen, we need a band for this event. Can you come together? So the Dirty Water Dance Band
Formed.
became a thing. And so the beauty of it is that every time they perform, it's different band members, so who can provide that evening. So it's a very community-based kind of band. So it'll be a good time.
Fantastic, a lot of fun. So do people need to buy tickets in advance? Is it something that they get tickets at the door? How does it work?
So it's free. It's
Oh,
open
wonderful.
to the public, but it is a benefit. So we are asking people to donate whatever they can to support not us and our efforts towards protecting our Cape Cod aquifer, because it is not just for us, it's for future generations. And I mean, we live on Cape Cod. Our main tourist attraction is the water. It's our lakes, it's our beaches. I mean, and if we don't have clean water, what do we have? What do we have?
Exactly.
Right, absolutely.
So that's exciting that it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I really think we're all in this together. We all drink water here, whether we live here or visit here. And it's up to us to protect that. So if the community could actually get together and figure out what that means. I mean, if I shifted habits, you shifted habits, you shifted habits. Can you imagine if a whole community did? Mm-hmm. The cumulative effect would absolutely change our future. I mean, it's inevitable, right? Our drinking water we have an impact on it. It's only a matter of time. We don't know where the tipping point is. We have no idea of knowing when that is. So why not think of the forethought of protecting it along the way? I mean, it's just common sense to me, And so we have lots of levels that we're working at with POCA. Ground level would be our community getting to, high schools and some children and some, local events and stuff. But there's also a state level. We have been asking towns, and we have 4 towns. Thank you, Brewster, for being the first. Orleans, Eastham, even though they weren't on the list last year to be sprayed. And Dennis for getting involved in they call themselves an aggrieved party, asking for an adjudicatory hearing at the State House. So POCA did this great effort last year where we went nationwide to find the top eco-toxicologists
Ooh.
in the country. We got 35 applicants, and top 6, we narrowed it down to our favorite first choice, and he said yes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And he's from Washington State. John has given us a nice affidavit and very helpful for our efforts up at the State House.
Absolutely.
Because we're not scientists and we don't claim to be. I can read. This can't happen. And so this is a hearing that started last August that's ongoing. It's still open, and we're waiting to hear results. We need funding for a lawyer to continue his efforts, and the eco-toxicologist, when the time comes, when it's go time up at the State House, it's we're going to be in front of the Massachusetts Pesticide States Board and explaining what is going to happen with these 5 different types of herbicides above an aquifer over time. I mean, it's happening. This is our current event. It's real. We're out there doing this, and we need your help to support these efforts.
Absolutely.
So that's why it's free to come in, and we're hoping that donations can realize it's bigger than us and POCA. It's at a State House trying to change state laws to protect our local drinking water.
Great. So if folks want to learn more about POCA, want to get involved, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you or to learn more about the organization?
We have a great website. It has lots of current information every single day. We put new information up just about. It's at www.pocacapecod.org. That's POCCA, capecod.org. And we have a comment period that we're in right now. It's up on March 27th, so we have the chance to write why we don't want Eversource to use herbicides in our power lines this year. Basically, it's per year. That's why I'm back at it again. It's per year. So we wish to ask people, townspeople, selectmen, residents, visitors, anybody, the whole gamut. Now's your time to comment. Go to pocacapecod.org website, and you will see examples of comments, and it needs to be fact-based. It needs to actually have a fact involved in it, or they don't even include it. They don't count it. So this is going to MDAR, the Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources, oversees Eversource's operations on Cape Cod. So the letters go to MDAR. And glyphosate, one of the herbicides, is just been, it's been a year and a half, announced that it is a probable carcinogen through the World Health Organization. So this should be banned completely, but it's not. How many years does it take? I call that lag time. We know it's a problem. How long does it take to fix it, right?
Right, a long time.
And so our comments right now really do matter and will make a difference. Every little bit counts.
Wonderful.
So please help.
Great. Well, Laura and Natalia, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you on March 12th.
Awesome.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah, please come out, bring your friends and family. It's kid-orientated. It's early. It's Sunday at 4.
And also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook. You can find us at POCA Cape Cod.
Wonderful. Great. Well, Laura and Natalia, again, POCA is the organization. You can learn more at pocacapecod.org. The fundraiser coming up Sunday, March 12th, starts at 4 at Etsy's Wine Bar and Bistro, 697 Main Street in Dennisport. I'm Sarah Colvin.